Here we go. Good evening once again, all you podcast people, all you folks on Facebook land. How you doing? It's another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me.
All right.
Continue to say, hey.
Hi. Hey, thank you for joining in with us on tonight.
Right, we got another one of our special guests.
Ain't they all special? I love it.
All of them special.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody we know is special.
It's right. Them the only kind of people we know, ain't
That's the only kind we know. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read your bio, uh, give a outline, a little nutshell of who you are, and then we're gonna get into it, ask you some questions. All right, you ready to go? All right, Tina.
All right. We have with us Nicole Banks. She's the owner of the Whitlow Banks LLC, and she offers her expertise in administrative support services. She has an extensive background in technical writing and corporate training. She is a native of Detroit, Michigan. Therefore, she advocates in her community through volunteering her time with organizations such as Detroit People's Platform, Restaurant Opportunity Centers of Michigan, Detroit Parent Network, Moses, I know about that one, the Community Church of Christ, and others. Mothering Justice is an organization that is dedicated to returning decision-making power to the ones affected by these decisions the most by empowering mothers to influence policy on behalf of themselves and their families. Mothering Justice hopes to change the future of families in Michigan for the better. For far too long, mothers have been defined by others, but as a group, they have been left out of the conversation. The overall goal of this organization is to empower a well organized group of mothers that can engage fellow mothers and lawmakers around a variety of issues that affect working families.
All right. All
Ooh,
right.
that's a mouthful there.
Yeah. All right, Nicole. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Good. Good. Thank you for coming on. There
Mm-hmm.
was a whole lot that she just read in there, and you see this as she moved around a little bit. But let's get to the first thing. Uh, we always ask everybody this: what school did you go to?
What, high school?
High school. Yeah.
Oh, I went to three different high schools.
Okay. Okay. Well.
So I started out at Pershing,
Uh-huh.
then went on to Henry Ford, but I
Okay.
graduated from Franklin High School in Livonia.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Livonia.
Mm.
Good. Yeah, we like to just see where our guest educational career took him. Did you do any college?
I did some college at Schoolcraft and at LCC.
Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So we got that out the way. Uh, I want to go into something real quick that's not on your bio that I think would be helpful and encouraging to some of our people. You had a real serious health scare a little while back. Could you share that with the people?
Yeah, in November 2019, I was coming down with flu-like symptoms. That's what it felt like to me, like I had the flu or I was having migraines. I had recently, earlier in the year, started having migraines and was had some medicine for it, and I would take it every now and then. Well, I had this migraine that wasn't going away, even though I took the medicine, and it just felt like a
Hmm.
sinus pressure thing. But when I would press all of my points, where you typically get
Right.
that from, you feel tension or pressure, it nothing would alleviate it. And so it got progressively worse in a 4-day span.
Hmm.
And to the point where I was sensitive to light. But I remember when it first started, I was at work actually. I was at a conference with the management center
Hmm.
downtown, and I was learning some things at the tech center. And I felt this felt like something hit me in the top of my head. It just felt like a hammer.
Hmm.
And then I got really flushed. I got flushed, and I thought, I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I immediately got up and walked out, right? And went outside and got some air and just said,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with me? But and take some air, get yourself together, Nicole.
Right.
I'm
Right.
telling myself, right?
Right.
I'm like, I really just want to go home, you know. But I was at a conference, and so I went back in and I finished my day and went home that night. I still wasn't feeling my best, but from that day forward, I just got progressively worse really fast.
Hmm.
And about 4 days later, thank God, after going to another local hospital for where I saw 4 different doctors
Hmm.
that did not properly diagnose me, I remember going home one night and crying and praying and saying, God, I just need an alleviation of this pain. It's getting so bad till I was walking around with a scarf over my eyes because I was very sensitive to light.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know what it was, and they kept saying, oh, it's sinus. And one doctor told me my potassium was low, which was a grave error.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just were sending me home. And I prayed about it. And as I prayed, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, sit up in the bed, get up. And I was like, okay, I got it. And record everything that's happened to you from the beginning till now, because you're
Wow.
able to say this in the morning.
Right.
So I got my phone out and I voice recorded the whole ordeal on the phone. And then I saved that, and I said, now where do I go, God? I said, I don't know where to go. I said, because it's icy out. I don't want to be skating all the way to U of M, because that's
Right.
the only thing I was thinking, I'm going to the best.
Right.
And then I decided to go to Beaumont. And so we went to Beaumont that morning. My husband drove me to Beaumont. We went in that morning. But that morning when I woke up, I couldn't see out my right eye. My right eye would not open.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, in the name of Jesus, I said, this body gonna do everything it's supposed to do. And, I kind of thought about it, and then I closed my eyes and I went to open my eyes again, open my eyes, and I was able to see. But I couldn't take sound. Sound had gotten so horrible. It sounded like I had a microphone inside my head.
Mm-hmm.
So we left, we went to Beaumont, we went in, and I had told the doctor, the doctor came in and she asked me everything that's been going on. I just really couldn't speak. I couldn't because my voice sounded like somebody turned the microphone up. So I just told her, I said, I'll play this for you. So I'm so glad I made that recording.
Right.
Isn't that something?
Because that day I wasn't having sound issues, but I was definitely having vision problems. And so I played the recording, and she said, well, Miss Banks, we promise you this, you won't leave here in the same pain, and that no matter what the test results show, we're going to make sure you're examined by a neurologist. Now, it wasn't the testing that caught it. It was the neurologist that examined me and looked in my eye and saw my pupils weren't responding properly. And then he ordered an MRI and an MRA. And those testing showed that I had an aneurysm that was rapidly swelling. The MRI showed it at 4, and the MRA showed it at 5. And they thought they were going to be able to prolong it and wait to give me the surgery until the next day. But then they're saying it's expanding too fast. It's getting to the level of bursting.
Yeah.
And so they took me in to have the surgery, the emergency surgery. And I can just remember me making my peace with God, because I was like, God, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to take me home, if I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I may have just kissed my kids for the last time, seen them for the last time. I didn't know. And called my pastor, and he came down and just rolled over and prayed, and still and there's a lot that's missing in this story, right? Because there's a lot of changes that your body goes through when you're having anxiety. You don't know what's going on. It's one thing to be in pain and understand where it's coming from. It's another thing to be in pain and not really understand what the outcome of that is.
Right.
So I was fighting all those things, and when I woke up, the doctor, he kept the neurologist that examined me, he kept coming and looking at me really strange. And so one day he says, and I was there for about a week and a half, and he says, you're a miracle. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I'm a miracle, but why are you looking at me so strange? Like, yeah, because I didn't have this expectation of living. I really didn't. And so he was like, you're a miracle. You're at the start, it was a little bit more than 5 when they actually start the coiling. That's how much it was expanded.
Right.
And then he said, but at the finish of the coiling, it was 8.
Wow.
8. And so I had jumped a whole 4 digits, from the beginning of finding it to actually the finishing of the coil.
Praise God.
God spared my life. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and I had you start out telling your story because, so most times we have people who have a story like that. We get it after we talked about, the reason that they're on here. But I felt yours needed to come out in the very beginning. And so praise God that you
Yeah, I didn't know
still here to
that.
tell that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
so blessed.
yeah,
Yes,
without a doubt.
Lord, Lord,
As the
Lord.
doctor said, you a miracle.
And they didn't think that I was going to be able to maybe speak or that I would lose something. But like I said, the Lord held me together through the surgery where I didn't have a stroke. And most people
Mm-hmm.
who have an aneurysm, and I find out in my aneurysm support groups, a lot of people have strokes in addition to the aneurysm. They are not, and I thought they were the same event,
Yeah.
but then I found out and looking back at my chart and talking to the neurologist, they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have an aneurysm and not have a stroke. And then
Right.
I found out that I was predispositioned to have an aneurysm already because aneurysm exists in my family on my father's side. My father
Okay.
had an aneurysm.
Yes.
So a lot of times we don't know. I didn't know that because you have a family history of aneurysm means that you're more likely to have one. I just thought it was one of those, either it's happened to you or it's not,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
roll of the dice or something.
Wow.
But to find out that, you have to check your family history. And if you have one,
Yeah.
do more. And I'm sorry for the dinging.
Oh, that's you.
That's my computer. I do not know how to disassociate my phone with my computer.
Put your phone on mute. See if that does
Oh yeah, my phone is on mute.
it. It is on mute.
My computer still wants to go off, but I am going
Okay.
Here, no technical
Okay.
difficulty.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's something that you can do,
to
but
turn off my phone, and hopefully that helps.
yeah, that might help. Okay. I was wondering what that sound was. You saw us looking around.
I
Uh,
thought at first I probably was the only person hearing it till I saw you guys look around like, where's that coming from?
right. 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 So the sound of this is coming through your phone too. The sound of the interview. Was that
No,
coming?
no, no.
Oh,
I'm on
okay.
my computer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So, woo. So you made it through that, and so let's get into again. So thankful that you did make it through. Uh, let's get into some of the stuff that you're doing. Tanya says she knows what Moses is about. What is Moses?
Oh, that's what was it?
Let
It's
her tell
oh,
it. What is Moses?
Moses is a grassroots organization like unto Mothering Justice. They are in, I guess the word I would use is synergy in some areas of civic engagement in the community. They
Okay.
are locally based in Detroit, and they do great work, and they basically do a lot of faith-based organizing.
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So they are awesome group of people that I've had the privilege to volunteer with alongside of Moses in the EJAM fellowship that I was in.
Okay.
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 Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna jump to Mother and Justice because we got a lot about that. Let's talk about Mother and Justice. What is it? What do what do you do, and how does that work?
So Mother and Justice is a statewide organization, and we focus around the areas of policy and engagement
Hmm.
of women of color.
Okay.
And so we do a lot of, I call them community chats. We do community chats, and we
Mm-hmm.
find
Your
out.
hold on a sec. Your voice is going down. Your
Okay,
volume.
can you
Yeah.
hear me better now? Let me lean in,
Yes. Yes. There we
talk
go.
a little louder.
There we go. That's better.
All right, there we go. So, so we do a lot of community engagement of moms,
Hmm.
find out what issues they're having, what's mattering the most to them.
Okay.
And so through that, we formulate our mama's agenda,
Yeah, I saw that.
our different policy topics that we actually advocate for on behalf. And we do our best to bring our moms along with us in that type of advocacy work.
Okay.
And because we believe the people most affected by the policies that are being made are the ones who should be at the table.
Right.
There should be a representation of, of moms and definitely moms of color at the table.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do they get involved in it? The mothers.
Well, if anyone wants to get, we're on social media. Mother and Justice is on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But we also have our website, www.motherinjustice.org.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mother and justice, one word.
Motherinjustice.org.
One. Yeah. Mother and justice, one word.
Yeah.
So how did you recruit the first mothers?
Well, I wasn't there when this organization started. That would be
Okay.
our founding director.
Oh, okay. So it was all, yeah, like I did hear you say it was already in existence
Yeah.
and
By the
statewide.
I came into this work through a fellowship called EJAM Economic Justice Alliance of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to say that it found me at the right time,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
where I was ready to get back into the workforce. I didn't know how I wanted to partner my skill set. I knew I didn't want to go back into corporate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do some work that was meaningful with the
Mm-hmm.
soft skills that I knew that I had. And so through some Facebook posts, I saw the EJAM Fellowship, and I was getting involved in all these groups around urban farming and different things.
Mm-hmm.
I had taken a grant course at WC3. It's funny because I took the grant course because I was like, I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to fry any more chicken or sell any more chicken. Raise money. We need to find a different way.
Right. Right.
We're small, we got to find different, ways.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was really through that program, and then connecting with people that I met through the grant writing class on Facebook and following them, that I think that I connected with EJAM, and I filled out the fellowship application, not really thinking that I'd be chosen, right?
Uh-huh.
Hoping, but not work. And then I was chosen. I was so excited.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I was so excited to be a part of the fellowship, and then I found out, oh, this comes with a stipend. I didn't even know it came with a stipend. I was just excited to do the work.
Right. Right.
And then it came with this stipend, and it's about a 9-month program, and you have to
Yeah.
about not only do you have to attend the Saturday sessions then, which were all day. It was a Saturday, no, I'm sorry, it was a Sunday and a Saturday and a Monday sessions. Like it was two sessions per month consecutively. So you had a Sunday and a Monday consecutively. But you also had to volunteer 40 hours of practicum time with the for the fellowship too.
Okay.
So in doing all that, that's when I began to learn about the different organizations. And so I didn't at first partner up with Mother and Justice or with Moses, which would seemingly make sense because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Christian, and also I'm a mom, so that would make sense that I would just jump into those. But what I knew about myself was that I'm going to get to them. Let me go to the far other reach
Mm-hmm.
while the program and see what the other organizations are doing. So I started with DPP, Detroit People's Platform, and got engaged with them and got engaged with Restaurant Opportunity Centers, and got engaged in that and found out more about these organizations that were part of the fellowship,
Okay.
and using what skills I had to volunteer.
Cool.
Mm.
And so with that, so what do you do with them now with Mother and Justice?
Well, Mother and Justice now, I am the operations director, and I also am holding the movement fellowship at present.
Okay.
So that's the type of work I do with Mother and Justice.
Okay. And is there because I know when you and I spoke a few weeks ago, you laid out a whole curriculum, if you will, for the current women who come in. Is that different from what you did, or is it the same thing?
It's different from what so there are two fellowships. So that the EJAM fellowship is something separate with the members of EJAM, but the Mother and Justice Fellowship is more intimate than EJAM Fellowship. It's a smaller group of women. It's about 20 to anywhere from, I'm gonna say, 25 to 30 women
Mm-hmm.
that we take along in the process over a 9-month period of engagement,
Okay.
to show them how we engage, and and to help them to model that engagement and teach them a bit about the Mama's Agenda topics. They may know some, but then we pair them up with our organizers and have them do volunteer work and to give them more knowledge about the issues at hand and the different things that we're doing. Of course, because of COVID, we had to do a lot of pivoting of our fellowship. Typically, our fellowship is in person. It is a full Saturday day, once a month. And we provide like a breakfast and a lunch for moms. We ask this question of moms or this thing of moms where they don't bring their children, because typically with Mother Injustice, one thing that's very unique about Mother Injustice is that when we put together events or community things, we're always thinking about moms, right? So you can't think about a mom and not think about their children, right? So we make accommodations for children. We may make accommodations in the area of childcare. We make sure our space in our office is child friendly. So bringing your child to our events is not a hindrance. It's actually welcome, you know. And so we welcome moms in that fashion. But we also, through the fellowship, we ask moms to step away as much as they can and join the fellowship just, without bringing their children so they have more time to focus.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so give us some of the mom's agenda. What's
So
on
the
mom's agenda?
So one of the mom agenda topics that's really interesting is affordable quality childcare.
Oh yeah.
So there's this thing we don't just want childcare that's affordable, but we want childcare that has quality. Um, I am not abreast of the current state of a lot of the issues. They are, as you can imagine, very vast, and especially in COVID, what we like to do is make sure that these items don't get lost in everything that's going on, right? Because it's easy to um, it's easy for legislators to forget about if we don't stand
Of
up,
course.
our voice lifted, right? In the handing out of stimulus and different things like that, it's easy to forget about the child care worker, and it's easy to forget about the support that they need.
Right.
Uh, and so we do our best to stay at those tables to lift up those voices of those moms and to also bring those people along in the process as
You
well.
fading away.
Yep.
Yeah, it's important that we speak with our own voice to power,
Right.
right?
That's
And
right.
not just have someone always represent us.
Right.
That we come to the table for it.
Yeah, because that voice of a mother who actually has lived the issue
Mm-hmm.
is much more powerful than an advocate's voice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because like you said, when our children was young, shoot, it was that child the cost.
Yeah.
For our child it was like $70 and $80, and now it's 200 plus per child. So
Yes.
it's like if you gotta catch the bus, take the kid, take them down there, catch the bus to work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
devastating. And if you, like you said, if you barely making minimum wage or this, that, and other, but you still have to feed them.
Yeah, we fought and won, and you never went alone, right? You always been
Mm-hmm.
some people helping you in the community on the Earn Pay Sick Time campaign.
Okay.
We're still fighting that battle, we haven't given up. But essentially, to say that what I learned about that campaign was that there's this word that we use a lot. We use this word minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a sad word, right? It's just enough to maybe get
Right.
back.
Right.
Right? It's not. It doesn't speak of thriving. Barely speaks of surviving.
Right.
Right. And so there's this language that I've heard called living wage. Right. How about giving people a wage in which they can live by?
Right.
That they can pay their bills. People are trying not to pay their bills, that they can earn enough so that they can pay their bills, right? So that a person doesn't have to stand on their feet working all night, sick, trying to serve you food. We don't want that now, definitely in COVID.
Right. Right.
Understand the power of earned paid sick time, right? Especially in the environment with the with this pandemic that's going on. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Right, right, without a doubt.
Yeah.
fought with of community members on that campaign and won. And there's some different um, I know tricks that happen that we're still battling against to get this thing really pushed out the way the people want.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get some pushback now. You know that.
Oh yeah, it's kind of fight us too, right? Kind of fight us you do. As black women, we used to fight. We used to fight as black people.
Yeah, and you had some. One of the genders was the women's health
Women's
issue.
health, black maternal health,
Mm-hmm.
found out through surveys and questionnaires that we are not, as far as giving birth, we are just about in the same category of giving birth and having a good birthing experience and a healthy one as we were in the days of slavery, and having it,
Mm.
and that's amazing, right? One day we were in the office, and I don't know how we got on the topic of sharing our birth stories. And let's say there's about five of us there. We're
Mhm.
sharing our birth story. We all have a horrific birth story.
Wow.
Like no one has this smooth birth story. Out of four kids, I've got at least two horrific birth stories, starting with the first one. And so when you do that type of polling, and you find out that we're not in any better state than we started,
I
Yeah.
know.
Right.
you know, and that the system is not designed to take care of us and
Yeah.
to consider us and to consider our pain. And it's amazing because when I was having the problems with the aneurysm, and I didn't know that that's what it was, we were in the office talking about how black women are not listened to.
Mhm.
When we say we're in pain, it's discounted. And in the back of my head, I was saying, that's never happened to me. I'm so glad. But then it was like, yeah, it kind of happened to you when you were having the labor, right?
Right.
But I was like, well, it hasn't. That's one thing, right? And then you move along in time because I was in my 20s. And praise God, I'm 48, about to be 50, 49. And so I was like, okay. But then I went to four doctors at the same institution, the institution where I was born. This
Mhm.
is not an institution that I just walked into, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
full medical history on both sides, right? From birth, that I was walking into saying I'm in pain. And every time it was discounted, you know,
Mm.
having low potassium wouldn't produce this type of pain. But then I found out my potassium levels were optimal. And had I taken that medicine, I would have been in a
Yeah.
horrible
Yes.
state.
Right.
Thank God for His Spirit leading and guiding me.
Right.
But that's an example of how we're not heard in medicine. So I'm very excited about the new moves that Governor Whitmer has made
Right.
the medical industry.
Right. Well, the problem is that black folks in general have to get loud before people to listen to us, and then the first thing they say is that angry black person is not understanding that the reason why we sound angry is because you ignoring us.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
After so long of being ignored, you got to you raise your voice, right? You flail your hands around. You do something.
You got to do
Mm-hmm. You
something.
gotta do something. You
Right.
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 Do
Detriment
something.
to your life.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's what I was thinking earlier today. They say you always bringing up the race card. Well, that's because your actions and your policies bring up the race card.
Exactly. And
Uh,
historically always have, right?
right. Right.
It's historically been a thing,
Yeah.
that I was just, as my kids are doing their Black History Month, and Ethan is doing a report on Asada Shakur, and to just listen to that story of Asada Shakur. And when you listen to the stories today of being stopped by a police and being scared, I see the police car, it doesn't bring me comfort. The police,
Don't bring that subject up.
it doesn't incite comfort in our community. You see the police, or you come to police me, And other people see the police and, oh, they're protection. No, it doesn't give me the sense of protection. So yeah, that's a whole different
Right.
that's a whole long
That's
conversation.
a whole different long conversation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you another question, because I heard you say this a couple times, and I don't think you said it in this describing the Mother and Justice platform. So you guys do a survey of mothers in general to come up with the issues that you advocate for.
Yes, that's how the mama's agenda arrives. It arrives through a lot of community conversations. We have a conversation we call the mama's conversation,
Mhm.
where moms get together and basically they talk about things that are happening with them or their children, and we share out different ways of solving things. But then we also get to the questions of what's happening in our community,
Mm-hmm.
what things we need to change, and how we need to work with. And not lots of topics come out of those conversations, right?
Right.
And they're different. I remember being in a mama conversation, and we had a topic of education that came out. Awesome group that does work around education called 482 Forward. And so someone lifted that organization up to that mom to get in contact with and help them move forward. But there are
Mm-hmm.
different, because we have resources within our network that a lot of times we don't know because we're not having those conversations.
Okay.
A lot
Right.
of times people want to get involved in their area, in their community, but they just don't know how.
Right. Oh, you froze. So, there she goes. She's back. You had froze for a second.
I froze for a second. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No,
But
that's
especially when you have children, you don't always feel that you are, welcome in certain spaces with your child. Oh, your kid's got to behave. Kid is kid. They're going to be a child all day. And
right.
Mm-hmm.
the most behavior you can
And
expect.
we mean of all races.
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to come to a group with the understanding that we're all moms and we have these children and space that's kind of curated for that puts moms at ease, and it allows us to share out, a little bit more than we would at, just going to other community events. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do the focus group that has this dialogue to come up with the agenda, how is that group chosen?
I'm not a part of the choosing of
Oh, okay.
the group, and
Yeah.
I
That's
would say there is no specific selection process
Hmm.
that I've seen because we have a lot of mama conversations and we have a lot of community engagement, and we kind of pull things that come out of those conversations.
Okay.
We also we haven't had one last year, but we do policy dinner. So we'll have a policy dinner to talk about the different policies that are before legislature,
Okay.
and so we do that type of work too.
Right. Okay. So now you told us that you are a director over a certain portion of it. So are you still a volunteer with them, or they put you on the
I am
payroll?
a staff member at Mother and Justice,
Yeah.
and I do things on my own personal time with Mother and Justice too. I mean, it's amazing to work like this, right? So right now I'm the operations director, and it's amazing to work somewhere where you are on both sides of the coin of the work. Um, I'm behind the scenes, right? I'm doing operations and working on the fellowship, with my fellow coworkers. But then also, I'm a recipient also of the work that these same amazing women do. That sit at tables and speak to power and develop and work to get our voices heard in policy. Um, and do leadership development courses so that other women can actualize the same opportunities that I have and that anyone else has,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
that they'll know their lived experience is also very valuable, and that they have the power to speak up for themselves and to change things that they don't like.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
so yeah, it's something to work like this because you don't stop. It's like you don't stop working.
Right. That's
Um,
right. That's right.
if I'm not at Mother and Justice filling out a form or doing something like that, or or guiding something, I'm off work and I'm still talking to people about mother injustice and telling them to get involved. Hey, sign up
Right.
Mhm.
for different things. So yeah, and
Well,
then we canvassing too. So that's
right.
the way we find out.
Well, those saying there's no rest for the weary.
Yeah.
There's no rest. So let me ask you. So let's get back to the very beginning of this. You own your own LLC, Whitlow Banks. Are you still doing things under that umbrella?
I do. I do. I take on small clients under Whitlow Banks LLC doing administrative duties and functions for different people. I
Turn
like.
your speak up.
Can you, can you hear me better
That's
now?
better. Yeah, yeah. When you
Okay.
get, what happens when you get relaxed.
Relax.
Yeah.
You get relaxed and your voice goes down and
Yeah.
relaxes with you.
Yeah.
So we need you to stay
I'm
nervous.
not a very loud spoken person.
Right.
Oh, I know you soft spoken.
Right.
Yeah.
And right. So the more
That's
you
why I'm like, she an advocate.
right,
Look.
the more you relax, the more relaxed you sound. So we losing you sometimes. So
So
yeah.
with Whitlow Banks LLC, I do work in administrative work, and I like to work with small groups and definitely help set up structure that's needed, maybe for collecting finances or just getting some operations in place for different groups.
Oh, okay.
That's the work that I do.
Okay. So
Mhm.
your services are always available.
Always available. You can email me at Nicole at WhitlowBanksLLC.com.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. So we come to a point. See, this clock on the computer is like frozen, actually. But we come to a point in our interview. We like to ask the question of the hour, because the title of the podcast is "Things My Mother Never Told Me." I see that look on your face. So have you thought about that? Is there something that your mother, God rest her soul, didn't get a chance to tell you that you maybe wish you had?
The first thing that came to my mind was that my mother never told me how challenging being married would
and that's a good one to
be.
say.
Yeah, because mine didn't tell me neither.
No, they don't
Neither.
tell you all this stuff. It's both a ministry, right? It
Mhm.
is a investment, um, and it takes energy and all the things, not just being a wife, but being a mom, all those things, and you love it, right?
Right.
I would have it no other way. I'm so glad that I accepted this path, right?
Okay.
I didn't have to. The greatest thing God gives us, He gives us the ability to choose, right?
Right. Right.
And so I'm so excited that I accepted the path of being a wife and being a mother. I love my children. I can't see myself without my husband, even though we've been in this house together in this thing, and I'm like, oh, I got to get out. I'll go to FedEx in the morning and send that shipment. Y'all don't come pick it up. Like, I need to get out. Me and my husband have what I call drive your wife around night. And because we both have like I have autoimmune disorder and he has diabetes, so we are very susceptible to this thing.
Yes.
So we are very cautious of where we go and what we do. But yeah, we definitely have to get out and drive around. I told my older kids, y'all owe me. I've got 2 sets of kids. I've got some young adults, and then I've got the 13-year-olds, because right now they're both the same age until Friday when the oldest one turns 14.
Are you homeschooling them?
I am homeschooling. Yes.
Oh, see,
And
yeah, that added that to the
yes, I've been
existing
homeschooling now
situation.
this is our second year of homeschooling.
Oh, okay.
So it is a journey of excitement, to look at your children and see how they've grown, how
Oh, yeah.
have a conversation, not just a dictated response,
Right.
and they know how to sit and talk to not just their peers but to adults.
Mm-hmm.
That means a lot to have them be able to formulate words out of their own mind, right?
Right. Right.
And be agile in their thinking processes. That's our word for this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, they around a mom that's advocating policy and Because like you said, even looking at ours from birth to now adulthood, we was like, wow, you did it, honey. Yeah, by the grace of God. But I
Yeah,
always look at the, you know what I'm saying? Everything is in reverence to God. That's
yeah,
how I get through it. You know,
yeah,
it's not about me. It's not about, but everything is in reverence to God. And He
uh,
created that union. So that's
yeah.
how I, you know what I'm saying? That's how I don't fight over the butter.
You-
Plus, I got some
Yeah, yeah.
good married friends that you know that keep me focused.
Yeah.
So we got all these little things in place.
I'm telling
So
you, everything that's happening now and through all the loss, it's been the best thing to have my husband by my side
yes.
to help through those things, somebody to hold you through the anxiety.
Hmm.
Right.
Sickness and in health. Yes.
Yes, yeah, yeah, because as you know, recently I lost my sister. She was young.
Yes.
And so to go through that and go through the anniversary of it this past Christmas, I couldn't
Hmm.
believe the year had gone by.
Yeah.
It feels just like yesterday, a great healing moments. But to be family, family's important. And
It
Right.
is.
Right.
next to you is it's just an awesome thing.
That's
So
how we build disciples, family. That's how
yeah,
the Lord
yeah,
gave us family.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, but you know, I'll get back on topic. That's you're the first person to actually say that. Your
So
response,
marriage,
your about marriage. Yes,
Hmm.
you're the first person to say that. This is episode 30, and you're the first person to say that. So, ding, 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 ding.
all right. Now
What, whatever the award is, you win it. I got to give you I got to get you a T-shirt to you of things my mother
oh
never told
yes,
me. T-shirt.
definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, just tell me what you send me. Text me your size so we can get it to you. We
Okay.
owe a few other people that. So if you're out there and you didn't get your T-shirt, look, I'm getting it to you.
Yeah. It's like the stimulus package.
It's
It'll
yeah.
get there. You don't worry about it. It'll get.
You know what? I ain't got mine yet, so I'm working on that. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
okay.
As,
See that?
as
It was
soon
already
yeah, they're talking crazy. As soon
the bell.
as soon as they get that done, we gonna get that to y'all. So we
Thank
get that to you. Just give me information, and I owe a few other people. I know who you are
Hmm.
anyway. So
And plus, the donations coming are also all that stuff is coming.
yeah, so that's good. So that's where you are. So with all that stuff you're doing, you working with the company advocating, and then you're going through the process, and then being a wife and a mother.
you. Mhm.
Do you have time to do anything else, or do you just relax in your spare time?
You know what? I found out we make time for what we want to make.
Yes, we do. Speak up. Say that loud.
We make time for what we want to make time for.
That's right.
And so, especially, the aneurysm grew me up, right?
Okay.
Hmm.
It grew me up into understanding that, this concept of time and that we just have to value it more and understand that there are things that are very important. And a lot of times I think like this. I think, what's the most important thing? My employer where I work at, I let them know, I don't work because I'm so passionate about this, but I
Hmm.
work because I'm so passionate about my children.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm so passionate about my family, right?
Hmm.
And then this is a great work to partner my skills with. That's what makes it great, right? But at the end of the day, when I have to choose between mothering justice and mothering my children, or
Hmm.
being a wife and a mother, my family comes
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
first.
That's right.
And so I center everything around that, and I am blessed to work in an organization that understands that,
Yes.
Yes.
and that we work to curate an atmosphere for staff that moves around that understanding,
Yes.
not the other way around. Because
Yeah.
we are people first, and then we work for someone else, right?
Right. Right.
First, we are that first. So, and that's the way I move now. I can't move anywhere else, especially when you go into the hospital expecting, hoping to get a pill or a shot and come out, and you're there for a week and a half and had a life threatening situation. Oh, it could change the way you think about the time and how you spend your time.
Yes. Yes.
You're right.
And you know, and you know, it's so beautiful because as we our last few guests actually we have all been through something that brought them to the realization that life is more than the little bit of stuff that we think it is, and sometimes it takes a life threatening or a world shaking incident to get us to see clearly. You know, God is you know, we like to say he got a sense of humor, but he's purposeful
Yes.
in everything he does, and he gives each one of us the wake up call that we need to understand that there's things that we need to do, and there's a pecking order to things.
I was talking to I'm gonna say one of my favorite cousins, Shirley.
You can say she your favorite cousin.
And I was letting her know I was getting so frustrated with my children and not learning something, my older kids. And the Holy Ghost said, well, they got to bake their own cake. I was like, okay. He's like, you can give them all the ingredients, but until they bake it themselves, they've never baked the cake.
Right.
No, they've never put in their own oven. So you give out wisdom and knowledge and understanding, but until a person walks that road for themselves, they don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
They really don't know. You know, they'll take your advice and hopefully they take it with them, but God will bring them to a point in the road when they've got to bake their own cake.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
And
that.
we have to
Mm-hmm.
allow that and just and what I've come to understand my role as mom is to be there for them if the cake burns. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If it burns, if it
Exactly.
falls, or whatever happens in that recipe, to be there for them, to build them back up and to let them know, hey, you can get up. There's
I
other
know.
cakes to bake.
Start all over. There you go.
Right.
Other
Well,
cakes.
Go get some fresh ingredients.
there you go. Because I mean, you know, the thing about it is and just to stay with that analogy, who's ever baked a cake, more than one cake in their life and never burned a cake,
That's
or
right.
who done anything and never messed up.
That's
And,
right.
and you know, like you said, our job is to be there to support them and not chastise them, but to support them when they burn the cake,
Yeah.
or when it doesn't taste the way they want it to taste.
Yes. Because we are Christians. God doesn't say it that you might not fall. He's there for when you do fall.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For when you do fall, so you know you can get back up.
That's right.
You get back up. Getting back up is that's what we do.
Yeah.
I know. Say it.
It's been in you to get back up since you start walking. You fall down, you got back up, bust your my Ethan bust his whole front teeth out when he was
Oh,
just learning how to walk as a
yeah.
child. He didn't stay down, got right back up.
Well, that's the beauty of youth.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
beauty of youth and love.
Right. Yeah, because kids don't realize that when they fall, that they don't take it as a life changing event. They just take it as just one of the things that you do,
Yeah.
and they just keep moving. And so you got Cherry to thank for you being on here because she called me and said you gotta have Nicole on because she's doing some stuff that she probably need to talk about. So I said, okay,
Oh
cool, we'll
yeah.
do that. And you know, and then, you know, other thing about that too is when we look at our children and the so-called failures that they have or the bumps in the road, most of the time it's the same stuff that we have problems with.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Exact same stuff we have problems with. So we can't be angry. We can only just say, well, I made it through.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? And that's the testimony, right? We overcame them by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. We
Yes.
made it through. I made it through that same thing you're going through. That same,
Mm-hmm.
all in the mind that sometimes we seem to hit. Like I can't get past right. It keeps coming in different ways, but now I recognize it's the same thing. So it's that point of recognition.
Yes.
Recognize it. Then you start to climb above to get over it, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. And then suddenly you like that don't even bother me. It was all in thought and
Right.
process. So
Right.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Right. And so that's the same process that Mother and Justice teach to the women that you work with.
not necessarily like that.
But I mean, but you know what I mean. The whole idea that even though there's obstacles in the way, there's still a path out.
That's right.
And here's the tools.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
Because
right.
because you got Mama's University, right?
Yes, we do. We have my university, which is an online fellowship.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That is not so. Movement Fellowship is a paid fellowship. Mama's University is not a paid fellowship, and it is online, so it's nationwide. And
Okay.
then we have a fellowship called,
I
gosh,
gotta
what
come in somewhere.
we have a fellowship called Accomplice Academy. I hope I
Accomplish.
said that
Yeah.
right.
Accountability. Yeah.
Accountability
The
Academy.
academy.
It's
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
under the name changes, but it's Accountability Academy now, and so that's specifically for people who don't identify as people of color, for women
Oh, okay.
who don't identify as women of color.
So that's the diverse group.
Well, no,
No, no,
not
no.
diverse.
There. If you ever look in a crayon box, there's way more colors than there are non-colors.
Gone through a lot of name changes. At one point, it was called White Women's School, so
Oh, okay.
but
Uh-huh.
it teaches those who want to be allies with us as Black women and women of color how to show up in support of our movement,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
how to support. So, a lot of times um, we want to support, but we don't know how.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
We think we're helping and we're hindering, right?
Yes,
Yes.
We're coming in with the wrong minds, the wrong way to do maybe the right thing,
right,
and so this fellowship teaches others how to come in and have support of women of color and Black women in their movement.
okay,
Whereas the Movement Fellowship and Mama to You kind of takes that personal approach to teach moms how to, as you say, move past some of those obstacles that are in their
Okay.
way,
Mm-hmm.
and why certain things and metrics are important to their movement. You
right,
know?
okay. And the beauty of that is that even with more than just that, usually we as people always want to help somebody and don't understand how they need to be helped.
Yeah.
We always want to help them the way we want to help them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's not help.
No, not help. And I say that because while you were saying that, it dawned on me when we do have our Sunday school class, our marriage ministry. We talk about how when our wives come to us with issues, husbands jump to the "I'm gonna save you" mode immediately, and not really understanding maybe that ain't what's needed.
Hmm.
And so it's good to have something that teaches people to find out what the person needs first
Yes.
and how they need it.
When you said that, I don't know why this scripture popped in my this passage popped in my head about you know that you could always God could have always told them how to get out the wilderness, right?
Yes, yes,
That was never the issue that God didn't know how to get out. It wasn't the issue that God wasn't communicating with them, where He could have said, "No, go right, left, and
Mm-hmm.
right."
right, right,
But it was the thing of them coming to the realization of asking the question, you know, and being in a point to receive such help, right? Because
right,
sometimes we're not there,
right,
and we've got to move an entire group of people to a point, right?
Yes.
Be able to receive this help, and then there's a way to offer help where it is actually help and it's not dictated.
right. Exactly.
Not you telling me what to do, but
Mm-hmm.
offering me a suggestion. So I think it's all those things in learning, and I try to use that mindset too, even with the 13-year-olds. When they're struggling with something, not to jump in and tell them which way is out. You
Right.
know, point it out, but to ask clarifying questions
Yes.
to help them clarify what they're looking at. How to help someone is a big thing.
Right. Right.
And what you do that's actually perceived as help is big too. So there, every time we think we help and we not. Sometimes we just muddying up the field, making it worse.
Making
Like,
it
step
worse.
back.
Yeah. Well, that quote. If you provide, however it goes, I'm paraphrasing. If you provide a man with fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach him how to fish,
Yeah.
he can eat for a lifetime. And that's the key. And like you said, with God, that's what He wants us to do. He could easily just do everything himself, but
Mm-hmm.
then what would that be?
And we're so philosophical. I didn't think
Philosophical.
Philosophical.
philosophical on this meeting right now, because then that phrase comes in, and when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right?
That's right.
If I'm not ready to learn from you, you're just throwing stuff out here I'm not even going to pick
Right.
up. I've learned that with kids.
Right. And right to your point, and I'll say this: that we done got all up on this philosophy thing,
Yeah.
but when they say that the teacher will appear, it doesn't mean that some new teacher is coming. It could be the same teacher,
That's right.
Mhm.
but until you ready for them to teach you,
That's right.
they're not your teacher.
No, because you're not even a student
You're
yet.
not a student yet.
Right.
I like that. I
Mhm.
like Brandis put that in there as a quote. Brandis is handling quotes and such on Facebook. Right.
Yeah.
So that's good. To tell you got anything else you want to add?
No, I was just, what, I was laughing at that. I mean, thinking about that too, because I used to always tell it didn't matter what school you went to, like we're showing on this podcast. You can learn from anybody if you are receiving of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to one of the best schools. You know what I'm saying? That it's people
There's a
that
lot
didn't
of
even
drama.
go to school, but like you said, they had wise counsel from
At
different
the
folks.
end of the day, I think we're all more self-taught than we know,
Mm-hmm.
understand,
Yeah.
And that what I tell the boys is that education is a tool that you use to teach yourself.
Mhm.
It is not going to just teach you. You
Right.
have to use it and work it in order to teach yourself. I had to work, and I'm still working because remember they're only 13.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Still working with them on that concept that there's you can learn whatever you want to learn. There's
Yeah.
books out there you can read.
Oh yes, there's so
Don't
much
necessarily have to,
information now at our fingertips.
you don't necessarily have to go to university or college to learn it. You can learn it. But will you and do you want to? It's
Right.
about your
Mm-hmm.
desire to go after it. Definitely
Yeah,
do that.
because we still stress education, but like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to want it.
Right.
Oh,
You
definitely.
still have to want
Right.
You do because that's a whole that's a
Yeah.
whole
That's a
thing.
whole nother thing.
it.
That's a whole nother thing. Because
Whole other thing.
I learned years and years and years ago the best teachers pull out what's in you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put nothing in nobody. It's already there. You
That's
got
Oh
right.
yeah, he gave us everything we need. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And the biggest thing
Everything.
I think what college and university is the honoring of your word.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do it not because somebody's standing over you making it. You do it because someone's holding you accountable. You now hold yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You saw the value in this. Continue to the end. Stay true to your decision. You made a decision. Do your best to stick that path out.
Hmm.
Here you go.
Realize that
His favorite word, path.
Path. It's all about
His
paths.
favorite
It's all
word,
about
path.
paths. It's all about
oh
paths.
yeah, God is the great path creator.
Yes.
I keep trying to tell them. Path, lanes are designed to restrict. Paths are designed to open up to the possibilities.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You write that
Mhm.
down.
A whole different framework for thinking of a path now.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. They're there to sometimes lanes and paths cross each other and they go together for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but the lane still goes straight up where it goes. A path can go anywhere.
Yeah,
It,
wines and bends.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It takes you where you need to go if you follow it earnestly.
All right then.
Get you there. Yeah, we appreciate it. We got off and so we wasn't planning on getting off into,
Yeah, no,
but
but
but it's
that's
good.
life.
Right. It's food for thought. I mean, it's all about providing what comes out, what needs to be said.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, and I wanted to ask you too. How can our listeners that's interested in this movement connect with Mothering and Justice?
So connect with Mother and Justice at the website www.motherinjustice.org. And when you go there, you can go under, I believe there's a trainings link
Oh,
or
okay.
an offering link, and you can click that and you'll see different offerings of training. You can also sign up to be a member. It's no cost to be a member. And then we'll keep you updated on the things that we do.
cool.
And you can also connect with us on Facebook, on social media, like I said, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay, very good.
Mhm.
So you got any other questions?
No, that was it.
That was it. Okay. See, 10 years to researcher.
Okay.
I know
Trust.
they said you could send a message too by email.
Yeah,
Is that still available?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can send a message
Mhm.
always to info at
At mother. Okay.
motherinjustice.org.
Mm-hmm.
Send a message to me directly, Nicole at motherinjustice.org.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Sounds wonderful.
Right. And so, are there anything that you haven't said that just came to you that you want to tell our listeners?
I want to tell you that this couple knows how to put you at ease on a podcast.
Sure, okay.
About you talking to someone who's extremely nervous, and now I feel like I'm just having a regular old conversation.
See,
That's
Uh,
that's what everybody say.
you know, because we know you got some important information to get to our listeners. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of mothers on this line. It's what we got mothers with daughters-in-laws and daughters in love and
yeah, well,
sisters.
I definitely hope they reach out for the fellowship. The cohort is starting um, in April,
Okay.
so we are looking
Okay.
for moms to be a part. The Movement Fellowship is only for women of color.
Okay.
Specifically looking for moms, but if you are not a mom, please still do apply.
Okay.
Oh, okay then. All
Right.
right.
So hopefully they'll take you up on that.
Oh,
Yeah. And we wish you continued success and continued health.
Mm-hmm.
And,
All right.
and hopefully this pandemic will get out the way soon enough so you can get back to full force into the work.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. My husband probably hopes that too, so he doesn't have to drive me around so much.
Oh, he
Well,
loves
look,
driving you
mine
around
drives me around all the time.
all
All
the
right.
time.
All the
She
time.
had the nerve to ask me last night, have I driven this Jeep yet? No, you have not.
I'm not even interested in driving anymore. It's like, okay, come on, he's a better driver.
I'm like you. I'll be feeling like, especially now, you know what I'm saying? With ice and snow, and I don't have to be in rush hour traffic. I ain't trying to.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope, not
Yeah.
trying to do it.
Yeah.
But I thank you very much, Nicole, for equipping that next generation of mothers.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
I like that. I like that slogan that you had out there.
Thank you guys for having me here.
Right.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right, our listeners, you know how to reach them. So, hey,
All right, Nicole, you take care. Be blessed.
Thank you. Bye.
yes.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye bye. I wanted to say volunteer.